Hello and welcome to the final Sky Sports Fantasy Football Game Week preview of the season. This is coming into the last game week now, and it is going to be quite a short one, I think, this week. Obviously, there's not really too much to go over. If you've got a spare transfer, there's not exactly going to be any transfer gains or anything to get out of that. It's just going to be a one-off transfer. So we are going to go over the average remaining transfers. We are going to go over the popular transfers over the past week, and then we're going to take a look at the best captaincy. We've got 5 options that I've picked out, and we're going to pick the best captain for Sunday. So obviously there's some games on tonight. That is Man United, Brighton, Newcastle and Chelsea are all playing. If you want to find out about that game day, I would go back onto last week's game week preview where we talk about that a bit more. So this week is purely looking at the weekend, and let's jump straight into things. So we did get some average remaining transfers this week from Sky, which was nice. Obviously, with these kind of figures, obviously we've got 2 transfers left. Most people would have probably used them over the last couple of days. We've had a couple of single game days, which would imagine people are bringing in captaincies and stuff like that. So I'd imagine this is probably a lot lower than it was on Friday. But as of Friday, the top 10 was sitting just below 1 at 0.8. The top 100 was at 1, and the top 1,000 1.2, and the top 5,000 was still averaging 2 transfers left as of Friday. And again, I imagine most people would have finally used those over the last few weeks. So our popular transfers this week are heavily City involved in terms of the transfers, and at least Haaland is still topping the list. I believe he topped it last week as well, with more people starting to bring him back in. Still a very popular transfer in this week, along with Vardiol, who has seeming to be playing a bit like left wing for Man City. Obviously has scored a good few goals. Last night didn't get a goal against Spurs, but it's still a clean sheet against them. So his points have been very, very good, and I think for me, I would have probably brought him in had there been more games to go. If there was maybe another 3-4 game weeks, I probably would have brought him in about last week with one of my last few transfers. But with the fact that there was no extra fixtures for Man City available, and there was no fixture gains or anything like that, I decided not to go for him. But he's definitely one to watch next season. I think if he's going to be playing that same position, he's probably going to be one of the first defenders on my list for players to start with at the start of the season. Phil Foden still being brought in by quite a few, obviously one of the best players in the league this season. Makes sense for that. Alexander Isak in there, which is quite interesting considering that he has not trained. I don't know if many people would have seen that, but Isak didn't train on Monday through illness, and it's a doubt of whether he's going to play tonight. I think as this video comes out, we probably will know the lineups for the teams, so hopefully he does play, because I've got him in my team and I've got no transfers left, so hopefully Isak's going to be alright. Now we've got Nicholas Jackson as well, another player who is kind of on some pretty decent form right now, and there is a couple decent fixtures for Chelsea. Transfers out, Saka is the number 1 transfer out this week, along with Solanke. Solanke, I did contribute to that as well, taking Solanke out for Salah as my last transfer. Bruno Fernandes as well, another one who has came out quite a bit, obviously with his injury, which is unfortunate because Man United obviously had a lot of games towards the end of the season, and as of tonight are one of the only 4 teams to still have 2 games to play. Nunez obviously totally out of form right now, and then Watkins as well, which is a bit of a surprising one considering that he was a pretty decent captaincy pick, and I think the best captaincy pick out of all the popular options for last night's game between Liverpool and Villa. So the fact people are transferring him out is quite an interesting one. Obviously they have Palace on Sunday as well, so not really a fixture I would want to avoid. Obviously Palace are in really good form right now, but it's quite interesting to see the fact that so many people are taking Watkins out. So the main attraction of the video, probably the main thing that everyone is here for, is to see what the best captaincy is going to be for Sunday. So I have picked out 5 options here. I think the only one that's really missing here is maybe like Isak. They're playing against Brentford away from home, but I feel like these 5 guys are probably the main 5 picks. and I thought I would look through some stats and see which one is the best to pick. So you can see we'll start at the bottom actually, so you can see with the what fixtures each player has got. So you can see Son has Sheffield away, Salah with the home fixture against Wolves, Haaland home fixture against West Ham, Saka home fixture against Everton, and Palmer with the home fixture against Bournemouth. So 4 of these guys with home fixtures this weekend, all apart from Son. Son debatably has the easiest fixture as well, so it's quite unfortunate that as an away one because it makes him slightly less appealing. You can see just above the heads there we've got the goal scoring odds. So the one ball shows the goal scoring odds of them scoring 1 goal, and the 2 balls is scoring 2 goals. So Son in there at 58%. He is sitting at third in terms of these 5 guys. Haaland is of course number 1 as you would expect. With 71% chance of scoring, which is obviously massive. Salah in there at number 2 with 64% chance, Son at number 3 with 58, Palmer number 4 at 55, and then Saka at 49 in at last place. Then you can see with the chance of scoring 2 goals, Haaland is still a 38% chance of scoring 2 goals, but Salah again just in behind at 31%, and then Son, Palmer and Saka kind of all about the same percentage there to score 2 or more goals. So it's again something to keep in mind. I do think Salah, obviously with the game being Klopp's last fixture and it is a home fixture at Anfield, I do think it's one game that Liverpool are really going to be wanting to go and win that. You can see with the ticks and the crosses, I'm really looking at teams who have something to play for. Obviously, if they've got something to play for, they're going to be more, probably more likely to score a goal. I think the team's more likely to play better. So if it's Son, I think he's very unlikely to have something to play for, but there's a slight chance that they could. Obviously, if Newcastle win tonight, they will be 3 points off of Spurs, so Spurs are going to need just a point to secure 5th place in the league. So I've kind of got it down as not really something to play for, because the Spurs aren't going to go out needing to beat Sheffield or needing to get a point, even though they do. It's not really like a tough game. Everyone is expecting them to do something. Salah, I've got something to play for purely because it is Klopp's last game. I do think Anfield's going to be bouncing, and there's a very, very good chance that Liverpool pull out like a Hollywood score, 5-6-0. So I do think Salah is a pretty decent captaincy pick there. And I would consider it as something to play for. Obviously, Arsenal and Man City both have something to play for, both challenging for the league. If City don't win, Arsenal win the league, and Arsenal obviously need to obviously just basically win to kind of hope that City will slip up. And then obviously Chelsea are sitting 6th, I want to say, is Chelsea are. Maybe they're 7th. I think they're 7th actually. Still trying to get Europa League, obviously joint with Newcastle, and Man United are slightly behind them. So obviously they're all competing for the European spots. So definitely something to play for there. You can see right at the top we've got the chances conceded. So you can literally the whole thing. It's 184 right down the middle. For West Ham, and they've got the most chances conceded out of every position out of all these teams here, which is going to be where Haaland's going to be playing, of course. So purely looking at that, Haaland has the highest chance of scoring. West Ham concede the most chances out of everyone here down the middle, which is where Haaland's going to play, and they obviously have something to play for, and it's a home fixture as well where they're going to probably lift the title. So Haaland for me is easily the number 1 captaincy here, which is quite a bit boring. But the stats show that he is just the better one to go for. I think if I had a differential captain to pick out of these guys, it would be Salah. You can see as well with the chances conceded, Wolves are conceding most of their chances down that right wing, with similar chances down the striker and left wing positions. So I think if you want to go for a differential captain, or maybe you're sitting 2nd in your mini league, and you need to try go for something different to try get first, I would probably go for Salah. Because I think there's a good chance that he scores maybe 2 or 3 goals in that game. And in terms of looking at the percentages between Haaland and Salah both scoring 2 goals, I don't think it's much of a difference as 38% for Haaland and 31% for Salah. So I think Salah is a pretty decent option if you do want to go against Haaland, but obviously there's the chance that Haaland ends up scoring 3-4 goals again. So in my opinion, I think if you're trying to hold rank, if you're maybe first in your mini league, just stick with Haaland. I think he's the easiest pick there. If you need to go for a differential, if you're trying to gain some rank, maybe you're just outside the top 1,000, again, maybe you're second or third in your mini league, probably would be going for Salah there. I probably wouldn't consider the other guys. I don't think Palmer has like a high enough chance. Obviously Everton's defence is pretty decent. Saka normally doesn't really score more than one goal most of the time anyway, so I'd probably leave him. And I think with Son having nothing really to play for, an away fixture as well, and you can see as well with the chances conceded for Son. Even though Sheffield do concede an absolute ton of chances, not many of them are down the middle, which is where Son's going to be playing. So, long story short, if you're trying to hold rank, I'd be going for Haaland. If you're trying to gain rank or trying to overtake someone in your mini league, I think I'd be going for Salah. And then capping things off, obviously we don't have a spreadsheet to go over today because there's really nothing to look at. We've just got a full line of fixtures in the one day, so no fixture gains or anything like that. So I'm just going straight on to my team. Tonight I am hopefully going for Isak. This is if he is going to be in the starting lineup. Obviously I've got Palmer here as a backup. I did mention it last week. I do think Isak's the best captaincy tonight, based on the stats that we went over last week in last week's game week preview. Once again, if you haven't seen that already, make sure to go over and see the reasons why. So Isak's going to be my captain tonight if he is fit and if he is starting. And then this is basically my team because I don't have any more transfers. So this is going to be my team for Sunday. Pretty happy with it. I think most of my players have a pretty decent fixture. The only one I'm concerned about is Branthwaite. I think Arsenal probably score a couple of goals against Everton, which is quite unfortunate. I did really want to get him out before this, but unfortunately with injuries like Van Heck and stuff getting injured, I just couldn't fit in an extra transfer for Branthwaite in there. Even though he has been brilliant, I'm just going to have to hold him, and it's probably going to end up being like a 1, maybe a 0, even a minus score for Branthwaite in there. Everyone else I'm pretty happy with. I think Saliba and Raya hopefully keep a clean sheet. Munoz with the home fixture against Villa probably doesn't keep a clean sheet, but hopefully maybe picks up another attack in return. Has picked up tackles quite a bit as well, so hopefully he picks up tackles in that game. Midfield's great, happy with the midfield. Foden, Rodri and Haaland heading into that game against West Ham. Salah against Wolves. Son against Sheffield, Palmer against Brighton, again all very high captaincy options. And then Isak obviously has United tonight, and then they're playing Brentford away from home. So pretty happy with this. Again, the only person I'm really concerned about here is going to be Branthwaite, and then my captain in this team is going to be Haaland. We have made it up to 800 in the world, hoping to maybe just up that a little bit. I think it's probably a bit too much to ask for top 500. But I'm really happy with the comeback, with the progress I've made in the last couple of months with that team. So things are good. Again, I'm not really going to show this team. There's really nothing going on. I've still got Van Heck in this team. Just been going for differential captains in there. And not really too much to shout about. So that is going to be my team. Once again, thank you for watching this game week preview. That is now finished for the season. The next few videos are going to be Euros videos, and we'll possibly do a live stream for like a deadline live stream on Sunday. We'll see if I can get things set up in time. But once again, thank you if you've watched every single game week preview for the entire season. I really appreciate it. We will be back next season for more game week previews, of course. And I think let me know down in the comments what you have liked this season about them, what you'd maybe change, what you'd like to add, because I'd like to get some feedback and kind of make these a lot better next season. So again, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, and I'll see you all in the next one.